I'm 42 years old, and all I know is a life of following Jesus. But I just now feel like God and I have a real relationship. Hang with me and I'll expound on that. I'll start with an analogy from my own life. I've been in the role of district youth director for about 9 years now, and when our district superintendent, Pastor Terry Bailey, hired me, we didn't know each other. We had some mutual friends, but we had no shared history. So it was a pretty big risk for him to hire me, and I hope he feels like it was a good risk. Nevertheless, in the beginning years of this, I made a determination and was very intentional about showing him honor and submitting to his authority. I did this in part because in my younger years, I learned some hard lessons by not being good at this. I was full of daddy issues and quite overt in my ambitions. But I also did it because I knew that contractually I was obligated to. It's what the Lord would want, and it's the expectation of someone in a staff role, and transactionally it would be beneficial if I honor him and treat him well. That's good for me, that's good for my family. But just a few weeks ago, he and I had a conversation where I talked about this, about how in the early years it was a decision based on his position and based on contractual and transactional reasoning that I submitted and honored. But at this point, we're so far past that. Now we have 9 years worth of a relationship, and I care about him very deeply and on a personal level. And Michelle and I love he and Susan and their family. And so now when I show him honor and when I submit to his authority, it's something more meaningful than contractual and transactional. It's based out of love and care and tremendous gratitude for who he has been in my life. As I mentioned before, I feel like maybe for the first time, God and I have a real relationship. I've been in Jesus since I was 5 years old, and through the years, my relationship with God and to God has certainly evolved. Probably in my young years, it was fueled by fear. I don't want to go to hell. I don't want bad things to happen to me. I better honor the Lord the best I can so that things don't go bad. And then I felt called to preach, and I would say that it evolved into I need God to help me do ministry well, and I want to succeed, and I want to do well for God. And then probably through the years it evolved into I need to be in fellowship with God because that's what's best for me. That's what allows me to be healthy and whole. That's what's best for my present and my future and my family. But I find myself right now in this place of simplicity. I just love him. And my relationship with him is centered on that. And maybe it's because I've been at this a long time, but he's certainly God on a throne. Heaven is his throne. Earth is his footstool. Savior of the world. He's become an old friend. And I have found myself increasingly being motivated by the simple thought that he loves me a lot. And I'm starting to love him a lot. And so the only appropriate response, the reason I pray, the reason I read the Word, the reason I want to operate with integrity, the reason I want to do as well as possible in my ministry assignment is because He loves me. And it seems like the only appropriate thing to do for somebody that I love deeply. I don't know where your relationship with God is on the spectrum. I don't know where you are in the evolution process, but I do want you to know there is a place available where it suddenly becomes, God, I have heard you call, come and talk to me. And Lord, my heart says I am coming. A place where you're not living in obligation or responsibility or even purpose. You're living in love. It might take a minute. It might take some change in thinking. It might just take some time. But I can tell you this deep in, it's pretty fun.